Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to talk about the 2024 Bitcoin halving event. As you can see here, I have a model on where I think Bitcoin will go for the next 3 or 4 years. Recently here with Bitcoin's price action going higher, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about the halving event. Just since October, Bitcoin's went up 36% since October 1st. So it's doing good, and I expect it to keep doing good. I've been seeing a lot of people putting predictions out there that they think it could go to 1 million or 500,000, 200,000. I believe those are a bit too high. I have it going to roughly 140, 150,000 in between July 2025 and November 2025. And I'll show you how I got those numbers here. A lot of work has went into this chart trying to get all this right. Can show you my first model here. So my first model, I had it bottoming out at 26,000. So this golden pocket right here is the 618 Fibonacci retracement. Clearly, I didn't think it was going to break that at that time. As you can see down here, the 786 Fibonacci retracement would have been the one to go with since Bitcoin topped out in the high 15,000s. But so this was on April 30th, 2022. Price at that point would have been at $38,500. So put more work into it a few days later on May 3rd. This is what I came up with at that point. Bitcoin was at 37,500. And I called it to actually break the 786. And then it would end up at $16,500, and then I still had it going up to $150,000 in the next cycle. So how I got to that mainly was with the Fibonacci retracements. So traditionally, you run the Fibonacci from the last pivot low up to the pivot high. On this, I noticed it gave me a more consistent trend going along here. If I started the fib on the first monthly candle of the halving date, so I ran the fib there up to the all-time high in each cycle, and this is what it gave me. And I noticed that each cycle, when Bitcoin exits that cycle and goes into the next one, it's always around the 236. So right here, exits, goes in the next cycle, goes up, comes down, goes up, and as you can see right here, it's sitting at the 236, comes out, goes up, comes down, and now, as you can see, we're coming up on that 236, and I mean, heck, we could hit that this week for all I know. And that's sitting at $41,000 to $42,000. So Bitcoin can easily hit that. So I expect it to be sitting around $42,000 going into the next cycle, and then make its way up to $150,000 somewhere between July 2025 and November 2025. And how I came to that was by finding the average of the previous few cycles here. I didn't use the first cycle because that one is a lot shorter than these other ones. So I feel like it'll give more accurate reading. So that number came out to 1,271 days from our previous high. And then I also took the average time in each cycle that it would take for Bitcoin to reach its high, where you can see right here, this one took 518 days. Where was this one here? 365 days for this. That one was short. But yeah, 549 for this one. 518. So go with 487 for this, which gave me that window in between there. So I did the same thing on the opposite end on the low pivots, and that gave me 1,341 days. So the price on that would be 77,000 to 82,000, which is still pretty high. That'd probably be the last shot to get Bitcoin below $100,000. And I think Bitcoin can easily attain this cycle. As you can see in the cycles, so this cycle went up 10,300%. The next one was 2,900%, 740%. So if Bitcoin did go up to $150,000 this cycle, it'd be 265%, which I would say is in line with the trend here. My only concern with this prediction is what will happen if the United States falls into a recession. What would happen if the S&P, let's say it were to go down to 3,700 or 3,400. Would Bitcoin be able to hold this regression line going forward? I believe it would be able to, considering the halving would be going on, giving some positive momentum, even if the United States was in a recession at the same time. But I think our odds of going into a recession are fairly high. As you can see here, on the top is the S&P 500. On the bottom is the 2-year and 10-year yield curve. And right now it's inverted. And each time it's went inverted, that's led to a recession. As you can see here, 1989 led to a 20% drop. The dot-com bubble 2000 led to a 46% drop. 2007 Great Financial Crisis, negative 52%. It even predicted 2020 somehow in 2019. That's up for debate on if it predicted that or not, but it's what the chart says. And right now it's inverted. And this is the deepest inversion that it's actually had on this chart. And as of right now, it seems to have bottomed out, and it should be uninverting in the relative near future. Who knows when that will happen? Usually the Fed decides to do that when something breaks. And as of right now, the betting odds are that would be in June of 2024 when the Fed would start to cut rates, which could lead to a steepening in that yield curve and resolve this. So that's usually when the S&P decides to fall. Going back to Bitcoin, in June, so June will have passed the halving by then. That's what's interesting about it to me. Going forward, that's what I'll be looking out for. What happens with the S&P 500 and going forward with Bitcoin. So we'll find out. none of this is financial advice. I could be wrong, and a war could break out and Bitcoin could go to zero for all I know. But I appreciate you watching. If you enjoy this, let me know, comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate it.